Hi guys, so this is Binyamin Ashraf, founder of Engineers Classroom. So in this video, I am going to explain about the mechanical module 8 of BIM technology, in which you will be getting the learnings of duct insulation and their requirements, classification of duct insulation, demonstration each type of duct insulation, and about the duct access doors, panel and access criteria. Further, you will see the insulation material, duct access door panels, about consideration of duct access door panels, size consideration and duct insulation and their types. So I'm starting the video from duct insulation. It is referred to any heating or cooling air duct located in the unconditional areas. So every duct has the insulation to prevent heating, temperature, acoustic. This is the requirement of actually the insulation. So temperature control ensure heated and cooling air is transmitted from the central air equipment to working or living space to the comfort level suited to occupant need. So what is the actual need of duct insulation? So every ducting has insulation so that it will not affect from outer ambient temperature. So the real temperature which is having inside the duct, that the airflow will come into the destination without regardless of any affection from the outer ambient temperature. So it will control the temperature. It is acoustic control. It means satisfying the indoor environment by absorbing noise generation by central air equipment. So it will absorb the noise also, so that it is acoustic control. Energy conservation, that control the heat losses and gain through duct wall. So it will control the heat losses from the duct wall. And the condensation control. So even inside temperature is very low and outer ambient temperature is high, so it will condensate and it will give the droplet of water behind that floor. Okay, so that will prevent surface condensation problem. And the fungus resistance, so if it is not cleaned, so it will create fungus. So duct system never allow mold, fungal, bacterial amplification and consequent contamination of indoor environment. So it will, these are the five criteria actually, that is the requirement of duct insulation will need. Okay. Further, you can see here classification. So it will having the classification. We will see in the further video in brief. So in leaning is something which is insulation of inner piece of the duct, and the wrapping and double wall. So it will be here. You can see about the leaning. So when the insulation is inside the duct walls, so it is called leaning. It is up to 3 meter actually from the VAV. So duct internal insulation is called leaning and often acoustic leaning. Okay, it will prevent the it will prevent from the sound, that is the actual use, and the vibration. Above you can see here wrapping. So wrapping is outer and external insulation. That is, you can see here the duct is inside the insulation and insulation in the outer part of the duct. It is a metal sheet of duct and it is the insulation having outer cases. So it will prevent from the outer ambient temperature. And double wall insulation, you can see when you have the standard acoustic double wall for noise temperature control. So you have to double wall, like leaning and insulation will both participate in the duct, so that we will prevent from the noise as well as ambient temperature. So constructed of the perforated inner shell surrounded by the layer of insulation and covered by a solid outer shell. Applied whenever the duct work is exposed, like building with an open ceiling situation. So when you have any open ceiling situation, there is no fall ceiling. So you have to use this double wall insulation so that it will avoid more and more heat and ambient temperature, and along with that the noise cancellation also will be participated there. The process of the double wall insulation, you can see here in the round duct, they are having double wall insulation. Inner wall also will be insulated and outer wall also. In between there is some ducts. Okay, so made with 1 inch thick fiberglass duct liner. That liner is called the insulation inside the duct. It is called the liner, and insulation inside outer the, it is called insulation. Okay, so sandwich between the galvanized outer wall of the perforated galvanized inner wall. So it is the both side insulation, you can say. of the duct so that it will prevent more and more acoustic environment and more prevention of the heat and ambient temperature. So it is called double wall insulation. You can see here, considered duct size of 16 into, it is the example actually, 16 into 12 and the linear insulation of 1.5 inch thick. So modified duct size will be, agar if you modify the duct size into 19 into 15 to match the actual cross section area. So this is actually the size consideration. If you having the this size of insulate duct, so you have to use 1.5 inch thick linear, so it will add in that and it will make 19 into 15. Okay, so this is the actual, you can say, dimension of the duct. And when you talk about the insulation material, so it can be fiberglass. It is widely used actually, fiberglasses, and it can be mineral wool, nitrile rubber, phenolic, and natural fibers and cellulose. So this is the six type of material you can use to make the insulation material. What is that application area? Where do you can actually use the application of insulation or lining? So any heating or cooling air located duct located in unconditional area should be insulated. So outer cases, when you have the rooftop ducting, when you have anything where the ambient temperature is very high, so you can use duct insulation. Okay, all duct works is attics, basement and crawl space should be insulated. So if you having any attics workspace, if you having any basements and crawl spaces, so you should always be insulated for the duct. Okay, the outside air duct should be insulated up to outside air damper. So it should be always insulated when you having the outside air insulation. So it is insulated up to air outer air damper. So it is more important to have the insulation there. It is recommended to use insulation in the main duct up to 20 feet from source unit to reduce noise. So actually, when you have any AHU and connection of duct from there, that is actually main duct. It is always instructed to having 20 inch of 20 feet of insulation from to reduce the noise, because it will create lot of noise from AHU that could be reduced from that insulation. Double wall insulation should be applied to expose all ducts. So if you are having good budget and client preference, so you can use the double wall insulation. It is a standard to having that in the exposed duct. When duct is exposed, like you can see in the figure, this is exposed to the environment. This is on the rooftop. Okay, so it should always be double walled. It is the standard. And where is the application area? So FCU, it means fine coil unit, written plenum. So if any FCU, written plenum, diffuser plenum, and other plenum should be insulated. So if you have any FCUs, that is written plenum, diffuser plenum, and other plenum should be insulated. Insulation for kitchen exhaust, grease duct should be avoided. Refer client specification. That is, if you having any insulation from kitchen exhaust, grease should be avoided. There is no criteria to having any insulation of the grease duct and kitchen exhaust duct. And if your client is specified that you can do this, but this is not an standards. Check insulation specification supply by the contractor client to get thickness for various application area. So if you can check the insulation thickness also to apply in the various application area. It could depend upon the budget and uses. And the last is application duct access door panel. So required for regular HVAC inspection and maintenance of duct. So it is the door panel. You can see in the diagram also. It is required to the maintenance purpose. And testing damper and detector in the duct works, removing dust accumulation. So if you have any FM work, facility management work in the future, you can use this door to do this for the maintenance purpose. Duct insulation, location and access and space consideration selling. So location should allow service personnel to get unrestricted entrance to access door. It should always allow an unrestricted entrance to access the door. That is, you can watch here in the figure. shall not be obstructed by a structure. So it should not be on the structure so that you can easily go inside the ducts and you can do their maintenance work and other MEP components. So it should be only free space, shall be located based on provided ceiling with the removable tiles. So it should be always located where the removable tiles like acoustic ceiling will be installed. In case of gypsum board ceiling, an access door on the position is required to provide a space for access from the below. So if you are using the gypsum board space, you should always provide the access to a space to access their door that could provide for the maintenance purpose. In this session, you have learnt about the ducts insulation and their types, how we can consider sheet metal sizing and liner and wrapping. You have learnt about the wall ducting insulation and their access door and panels, about the criteria of installation. So this is the module 7 and you can access more module in the engineers classroom channel. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much.